I'm begging you to stop believing your negative thoughts. I know they sound real. You can point to a bunch of evidence. But at the end of the day, your negative thoughts have embedded flaws in them. And if you can start seeing that and pointing it out to yourself, you can actually change the trajectory of how you think and how you therefore experience life. Because your thinking leads to how you feel, leads to how your life experience goes, leads to what ends up manifesting in your life. So don't believe your negative thinking. If that's something you struggle with and you want more clarity on that, that's what we're going to talk about in this video. So join me, stick around for that. By the way, my name is Chris. I teach emotional mastery. This channel is about giving you the emotional education that we never got growing up by teaching you about your heart and your mind and how to connect the two so that you can find all the change and growth and inner peace and happiness and progress that you're looking for. By the way, right now I'm in Descanso Gardens. It's a cool park in Southern California, and it's beautiful. So I'm just going to walk the gardens and chat with you about thoughts and why you should not believe your negative ones and what you can do instead. So let's start here. I want to start with a premise that I want you to really understand and remind yourself of this regularly. I definitely do, which is whenever you're in a negative headspace, right? Which means you're feeling down, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling scared, you're feeling insecure, or whatever the negative feeling is. That means you're in a negative headspace. And if you're in a negative headspaces logically come with certain downsides, certain disadvantages that we are all familiar with. And this is why it's so great to think about this, because you can resonate with this, which is, you know that when you're in a bad mood, you don't think clearly. Your bandwidth is like that. You get bad ideas. You have worse judgment. You can't really listen to your real self. You make assumptions that are not true, and then you operate as though they're true. You have trouble. There's a cloudiness. There's a confusion that comes with it. You don't know what to do. These are all just common side effects of being in bad moods and being in bad headspaces. And so, because negative headspaces are logically full of misinformation, misinterpretations, saying things you don't mean, doing things you don't mean, interpreting things in negative ways, because that's naturally a part of a negative headspace, you can't logically trust the truth of the thoughts that come to you when you're in that headspace. So when you are saying things to yourself like, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not experienced enough, I'm not talented enough, people don't like me, I don't belong, I'm not good at that, I'll never be good enough. Any of these super common negative thoughts, there's a flaw in it. It's negative and it's coming from a negative headspace, and therefore there's a flaw in it. And if you can, number one, know that there's a flaw in that thinking, know that you have flawed thinking. We all do when we're in negative headspaces. That's the first step. The second step is finding the real truth instead, which is going to involve changing your thinking and putting yourself in good headspaces. But the point of this video is to say, those thoughts that you have that you're alone, no one likes you, you don't belong, you're not enough, you're not a good person, you're never going to figure things out. those thoughts are all flawed, and I want you to stop believing them, like right now. And I want you to start believing in the truth of what you know at your heart center, what you know at your heart level, what you know is true. You can figure things out. You're a good person. You know a lot, even if it's about things that you think are very common. There's value in what you know. There's value in you. Sometimes when someone throws out positive truths, it can feel like, yeah, right. Well, you don't know the specifics. You don't know the details about how I live. What I'm telling you is your negative thinking is coming from a flawed perspective. It's assuming things that are not true. It's filling in gaps that are not true. It's using evidence. And by the way, it's convincing. I'm not saying it's not. Negative thinking is convincing. Your mind in a negative space will come up with all the reason. Oh, that was interesting. A hawk flew by and all of the squirrels and birds in the area darted. And I saw it firsthand. That was pretty cool. Your negative thoughts are convincing, no doubt. They will point, if you think that you're not good enough, your mind will then start producing all the evidence. All day, every day, it'll start producing evidence that you're right. It will prove you right over and over and over and over again. That's the trick of the mind. That's how the mind works. But the cool part is, once you start shifting your perspective, and you could do that once you become aware that you want a new perspective because there is a flawed, twisted reasoning behind your negatives, so you want to change that. Once you change your thinking, your mind will then start to produce evidence that proves that right, once you start believing that other truth. And so, as far as this video goes, I just want to emphasize, don't believe your negative stories. Don't believe the negative thoughts that you have. It's okay that you have them. We all have negative thoughts, and we're all at a different stage of the journey in figuring this out. But don't believe them. They're not true. They're coming from a place in your mind that is flawed and twisted. It's not logical. It's not real. It can feel that way. It can feel real. It can feel believable, but it's not. And so just remind yourself, if you're beating yourself up, if you find yourself judging yourself or being critical of yourself, remind yourself, this is not true. This is coming from a negative headspace. It's not coming from my heart. And anything that doesn't come from your heart, you want to start shifting. You want to change that. And you want to change into thinking that is more aligned with your heart. There's many ways to do that. I have other videos on how to do that. Check out my videos on connecting with your real self. The You Are Your Heart video, that's a good one. Check out the Changing Your Negative Thinking, your negative and limiting thinking. That's a great one to watch, which teaches you about finding replacement thoughts. Watch the other videos on this channel. Everything I talk about is to enhance your connection with your heart and to shift your mind to be more connected to your heart. So whatever resonates with you, you can learn it. There's many paths, as I'm learning in this cool foresty area. There's many paths to where you want to go. But it starts with realizing that you can't believe your negative thinking. Don't believe it. It's not true. When you say you're not good enough, that's not true. You are good enough. You are wholly worthy, and you don't even have to do anything for it. That's a whole nother video. If you want to watch a worthiness video, I have one on that. You are worthy just for existing. And therefore, you are good enough, and you've always been. Doesn't mean you might see that right now. Maybe it's been a while since you've seen that. Maybe you've never really seen that for yourself because you were taught otherwise. Guess what? That happens all the time. That's maybe the most common issue that people have, is a feeling of unworthiness. But just because you don't see it doesn't mean that you don't have it. Doesn't mean it's not true. You are worthy, whether you see it or not. So again, a flaw in the thinking, in the negative thinking. If you're thinking that you're never gonna accomplish something, that's not true. There's a flaw in that. You don't know whether you are or not. And in fact, if you find yourself in more positive headspaces on a regular way and you practice living and approaching life in a way where you access positive headspaces in a more regular way, guess what's going to happen? You're logically going to get good ideas, creative solutions, be more in touch with your intuition, see more answers more clearly, solutions more clearly. You're going to influence people in more positive ways because you're going to have a more positive body language and a more positive voice. Anything you want is just a series of ideas away. When you're in good headspaces, you get quality ideas. Enough of those, you can logically manifest whatever you want, any dream you want. Anything is possible. And so if you're saying, I'll never figure this out, or I'll never get what I want, or I'll never blah, 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 just remember, that's a negative thought. Don't believe it. Don't believe it is the first step. And then the second step is get yourself into good headspaces and find new ways of looking at things that are believably true, believably heart-centered. So hopefully this was helpful. Stop believing your negative thoughts. They're not real. They're flawed. I don't even have to hear what they are to know that they're flawed. Anything coming from me or from you that's coming from a negative headspace, a criticism, a judgment, a feeling of undeservability, a feeling of unworthiness, I don't care what it is. It's flawed. There's flawed reasoning and flawed logic in it. Don't believe it. Find other ways to look at things, other ways to perceive life, perceive yourself, other perspectives that you can adopt, other ways of thinking that are aligned with your heart, that are true. Because when things are aligned with your heart, that is true. When you know that you are good enough and that you deserve love, that's true. When you know that you are confident and good at what you do and you're talented and you're worthy and you have value, that's true. When you know that you can do anything and that you belong, that's true. So the first step is distinguishing what's true and what's not, because we sometimes get in a spiral where the negative thinking is so convincing and the evidence that our mind keeps cherry picking out of the universe around us is so convincing that we just don't know where to go and we don't know what to believe and what not to believe. This video is to stop you in your tracks and say, here's exactly what not to believe, which is your negative thinking. And that's just because it comes from a flawed place where your mind is not operating in a clear way. If your mind is not operating in a clear way because you're feeling distressed, overwhelmed, scared, anxious, depressed, insecure, whatever, it's not operating in a clear way. And when it's not operating in a clear way, it's going to spit out shit that's going to sound believable, but I don't want you to believe it. Know that that's not true, whatever it is, whatever it's saying, and know that you can change it. And there are tools in other videos that I go into that help you do that. This is absolutely a self-practice you can do. Catching yourself and saying, when you're saying like, nobody likes me, catch yourself when you're saying, I'm not good enough, and saying, that's not true. And I'm going to look for ways of where my real heart truth is. There's absolutely ways to do that as a self-practice. If you do, write in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you discover, what you find out about yourself and life by doing that. And if you want extra help or customized guidance, like personal guidance on doing this with yourself, I offer coaching as well. That's in the link below. Just for people who want to do that or want to have more guidance on their journey. But it's a self-practice that you can do with no one but yourself. And I encourage it. It's really important for you to start doing this. Start questioning the thoughts that are coming into your mind. If they're negative, they're not true. Stop listening to them, stop believing them, and start at least drawing a line in the sand and say, this is not true. I wonder what is then. I wonder what is. And then keep an open mind as you go about your journey, as you find that. Your heart will tell you. It'll feel good when you find your truth, the real truth. Hopefully that was helpful. If that was helpful in any way, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Say hi or tell me how you're doing with this. I would love to hear. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you. I love you. I appreciate you, and I will see you in another video soon.